So I was right. His name was Amin Ghosh. That guy was in the lawn chair earlier that I saw that was Amin Ghosh. He was the guy that was shooting guys over in the movie Hitler, Schindler's List, and off the balcony. But, yeah, that's him right there. I saw an interview on television where he had a daughter, or he had like a cousin or something like that, or a couple kids, and were infuriated with Steven Spielberg, I think it was, that made the movie, because they shamed her, and that was her father. Even though she had nothing to do with it, she got a lot of the hate and bashing. Kind of like my mother. My mother went through all this stuff and tried to give me something, and instead I got all the bashing because of it. And then they change up and mix up the story. So I think that is it. That is it for this is the actual warehouse where it all happened. People working, work. I mean, that's all it fucking was. You know, it makes me think that the fact that the females work with so many chemicals, that they probably more likely develop diseases more than guys did, which was very, seems brutal, working with chemicals like that, especially, production was more priority than safety. So we got the salt mines, you got Auschwitz. I'm sure there will be eventually other death camps. There's a couple of other ones. Maybe one day I'll get to them. Maybe one day, huh? If I'm still alive. It's all this propaganda. The president was going to have me assassinated, force me to Christianity religion. This is Stalin right here. You can see the mustache, the demon of Stalin. Fry Yazira. Oh, so this must have been like a salon. So this is like, because one of the things that I always noticed about Germans, Nazi Germans, they always had the fucking cleanest fucking fades. You ever seen a Hitler fade? You ever seen like a Nazi fade? Cleanest fucking fade haircut you could ever imagine in your life. Ever. And it's one of the things they're always clean cut. Their fades were flawless. And so they had all this because they were very, very properly neat. Remember, this is a supreme white blonde race. This is a German race. This is a quality human race, and everyone else gets extinguished. So you have to really uprise them, making sure you keep the preservative of their genetics and a superior race during that time. Just like, Ken Cooper and Dana White and the white supremes that, shit it on me and then do the exchange later. It's all about brains. They had all this nice shit. When I used to go to the barber shop, they had a little bit of an old school, over at Bill's Joint. They had some old school shit there. Like they used to use a razor blade. And I remember the first time Frankie ever got a shave. And I remember this. Frankie never got this. But one of the last times that Frankie got a shave, which was very weird because he was young, he said, "Yeah, I want to go give you a shave." And he put a bunch of powder on Frankie, and he gave him a clean shave. He gave him a clean shave, which at the time that he got raped, and this event happened over Michael Jackson, I was about 7 to 8 years old. I was about 8 years old. So Frankie was about 12 to 13 and didn't have facial hair. So that's something I never talked about in my life. because I remember looking at Frankie's like, oh, Frankie's all grown up now. You know, when you're a kid and you're like looking up to your like 12 or 13-year-old brother. I remember that. I was thinking to myself, because Frankie didn't have facial hair. He hadn't really grown any facial hair, but I remember Frank was like, all right, come on. And he sat him down, he patted him down, that fluffy Murphy fluff shave cream, and he gave him a haircut with a razor blade. And I remember being scared because those razor blades are so fucking sharp. They're like 10 times sharper than a surgical knife. And he used that, yeah. He sharpened it, I think, with like a belt where you go. But I remember that first time. I remember he said, Frankie, is this your first time ever getting to shave? I'll make it your first time giving a shave. So you don't understand how bad this was. Something I never talked about. I just remembered just a second ago. I remember that. Sitting on the chair, and I'm like, Frankie, you don't have any hair? And I guess it was like, oh, I'm trying to be grown up, you know, like I'm gonna give me a shave. I'm already, this is my first time.